How do you rate the RUTO'S government on a scale of 1 to 10? How do you scale it?
It's high time that the youth of this nation, they should wake up from their slumber. It's very difficult now to convince somebody in the village there that education is important because somebody has a degree and he has no job.
Hello everyone and warm welcome to Dan Franco. My name is Francis Elishifa and today we are going to have a robust and comprehensive discussion about the state of the nation. And today on the bench, of which it is not actually a bench, I have a guest who is well versed on politics. He is a student here at Masai Mara doing political science. So let me give him a chance to introduce himself.
Thank you very much, my brother. First of all, thank you for the invitation. I'm glad to be with you here. My name is Shelton, third year student taking political science and public administration. Let me start by saying how glad I am, how jubilant I am for you giving me this opportunity to at least share on things that affect our nation, things that happen on a daily lives in our society. First, I'm not a political analyst, but I'm just passionately curious about the happenings of my vicinity. That's all.
Okay, today to keep things well, we'll go and discuss the transition process from the Jubilee government to now the Kenya Kwanza government, and from there we can discuss the praise of the youths in the new government. And we know that the Kenya Kazi Mtaani was done off by the President William Ruto. So Shelton, how do you let me put this question: how do you rate the Ruto's government on a scale of 1 to 10? How do you scale it?
Oh, first of all, we have to accept the fact that the Ruto's administration, we just ascended to power the other day. So a lot of things have not been done. There's still transition process. Even the other day we saw the National Assembly electing some of Kenyans to represent the nation in East African Legislative Assembly. The other day we have seen President Kenyatta, President Dr. William Samoei Ruto appointing various people to his cabinet. We have seen also President Ruto appointing other people to be the principal secretaries in his various cabinet. So I think I cannot rate Ruto's government from now, but going forward, because he's like putting his house in order. But I think moving forward, Ruto's government, after placing everything in order, I think we can still not rate it as for now, but let's give him time.
Is the transition bad, good, excellent, or it's just wow? You can maybe scale it.
You know, the constitution that we have, the constitution of Kenya 2010, gave us a latitude that a president can only serve for 5-year term, 5 years, and he or she can only go for 2 terms. So I think it was incumbent upon President Uhuru Kenyatta, having completed it first term, to give power to the person who was going to be elected as the next president. So I think President Uhuru Kenyatta did that, and he gave power, transited power peacefully to the newly elected president, who is Dr. William Samoei Ruto. So I think to my best understanding, I think the transition process was good. Even if the opposition claimed that the results were rigged, I think they all followed the due process of the law, that taking the matter to the Supreme Court. And I think all the matters were solved, and now we have a new government. So I think the transition was done smoothly, and the government is now in place.
And it was peaceful.
Yeah.
Okay, what is your point of view on the President William Ruto appointing the CSs and the PS?
Oh, I think it's very unfortunate, more particularly in Kenya, that our politics is ethnically defined. You get that President Dr. William Samoei Ruto just appointed his cabinet the other day, and you get that perhaps me, I think he did well. Because when he was campaigning and even during the occasion of their convocation, he said that in his government he will ensure that it is 50-50, to mean women folk will also to have their space in the government. But I think President Ruto, to somehow we met that target. But the other day I've seen other people complaining that our community has not been given something. But I want to say that this is the tragedy that we have in Kenya. You get that the political class is ethnically defined. You get that a community now feels that now they're left out in government, but in the real sense, when we mobilize the masses to vote for us, we mobilize them on the basis of the ethnicity. That's the reason why you see other people are saying that we, the Kamba nation, we have been given 2 cabinet secretaries. We, the Luo nation, we have been left out. We, the lawyer, we have been given the chief 30% of the government. We have been given chief cabinet secretary. We have been given the third in command, who is the Speaker of the National Assembly. So I think the tragedy that we have in Kenya, that we try to embrace inclusivity in a very perverse manner, that we want to include other people in the government, but to get that the way that we want to include them is that let's say, for example, the position of the chief cabinet secretary, for a fact that position was unconstitutional, but to get that it was created there just to please a certain community that they are now in government and they have a very powerful position, just because the chief cabinet secretary, when going to their rural village, has a convoy of vehicles. So that I think it's very unfortunate that Kenyan politics and I think it's Mwalimu Julius Kabarage Nyerere of Tanzania who once said that katika karne ya 21 bado mnataka tuabiri basi ya ukabila. I think it's very unfortunate that Kenyan politics is still defined using ethnicities. That's the reason why you see the kisses coming out that we as the Gusii people, we have been left out. We as this group of people, we have been left out. Yet we should be crying that what we should be asking: are these people appointed to this position? Are they appointed based on merit, and can they deliver to the people of Kenya? So me, I think that's the issues that Kenya should be asking us for now.
Okay, and you have put up a clear point there based on the merit. Do you think it is healthy for Kenya? Because I think the government, when they are appointing the cabinet secretary and the PS, they appoint politician based on their loyalty. Is it good to appoint politician based on loyalty, or Kenya should shift to maybe appointing technocrats, or maybe those people who are skilled? If it is the Minister of Health, you are well versed on that ministry, because maybe appointing a politician, we saw this effect of the Amina Mohamed being appointed the CS of sports, na ilikuwa na mambo because the sports over like ni kama mwaka mmoja hakuja kuwa na michezo.
Oh, by the way, so I hold the view that when appointing just bring me that point, just bring me back to the point that I was telling you, that Kenyan politics is ethnically defined. So that when it comes to when the president now wants to appoint the people to help and run the government positions such as CS and PS, let's say the president will be forced to appoint the people who are loyal to him. Let's say those people who brought votes to the table. But it's very unfortunate that you get that some of these people are not even versant with their docket. Take, for example, I don't want to mention, but is something which is available in the public domain. You get that somebody is appointed to a certain ministry, yet he doesn't have that vast experience in that ministry. That brings us the questions of service delivery. Will they deliver? That's the reason why you get that at a point, some of this government tend to fail just because people who are elected or appointed to those positions are not there to deliver. But I think I hold the view that for the betterment of the nation, and these people should now be followed. We have the National Assembly, who should now be oversetting the executive. I think they should be oversetting these people to make sure that even if they are appointed based on their loyalty, they deliver to the people of Kenya. That's me.
That's your view. And let's shift from the cabinet appointing the cabinet to the increasing the term limit of the president. They were saying they will shift from maybe 5 to a term limit that when you reach 70, you cannot vie for president. Do you subscribe to that?
You know, the constitution of Kenya that we had in the year 2010 stipulates very clearly that once a president serves for his 2 terms, that's 5 years, and another 5 years, he should retire and possibly hand over power to the next person who is going to be elected by the people of Kenya. But I think that the statement came from a member of parliament that is close acolyte to the deputy to Kenya Kwanza government. I think it's a statement that should not be taken lightly. But I think President Dr. William Samoei Ruto, having promised Kenyans even during campaigns, and he even himself opposed the BBI, because the BBI to him he was going to mutilate the constitution, he was going to undermine the rule of law. But in my understanding, I think Kenyans should now focus on things that are very important to them. We have issues, we have famine everywhere, we have famine in the country, we have drought. The cost of living is very high. So I think the president and the entire Kenya Kwanza government should come out very clearly, because the constitution of Kenya 2010, it stipulated processes and ways of amending it in the article 255, 256 to 257. There are well stipulated guidelines on how the constitution should be amended. So I hold the view that the president and who said that, but you should understand. You should also understand this, that statement should not be taken lightly, because the statement comes from one man or one member of parliament who is close acolyte to the president, Dr. William Ruto.
And actually, his view was supported by the Kenya Kwanza allies, led by the senator of.
So I think that that issue should not be taken lightly. But I'm happy that President Ruto, the other day when he had a jamboree in the State House, came out clearly and said that he will be in the forefront to oppose anybody who wants to mutilate the constitution for selfish, parochial interest. But I think that amendment of the constitution, to my best understanding, that amendment is something incremental, organic change in the constitution, not to undermine that constitution, not to change its philosophy, but to bring change and maintain this philosophy. But I think the philosophy of our constitution of Kenya 2010 stipulates that the presidential term limit should be 5, that's 2 terms constituting 10 years. So I think that issue should not be entertained, and anyone in the political class trying to perpetuate that issue should be condemned, because if we start hearing such issues arising, then we are trending on a very dangerous ground as a country. So I think that issue should be condemned, and I'm proud and glad that the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, also came out clearly and said he is not ready to entertain such issues, and the presidential term limit will remain 5, which is 2 terms, and it will be remain 10 years. So I think, in my view, is something we should not be entertained.
Okay, now we have the Hasra government. The Hasra government, and we all know a number of Hasras are the youths. What is the position of the youths in the government? Because the government waliondoa the kazi mtaani, and I think this is the effect of unemployment, because we have seen crime rate in Nairobi iko juu. What is the place of youth in the Kenya Kwanza government?
Trying to answer that just brings me back to former president of Tanzania, Mwalimu Julius Nyerere, who once said that siri ya maendeleo ni watu, ardhi na siasa safi. And he also said that siri ya maendeleo ni vijana wenye lishe bora, hisia nzuri na bongo kali. What President Nyerere was trying to bring home, the point he was trying to derive, is that a country cannot grow without incorporating youth in its social, political, and economic development affairs. So I think President Ruto removing the so-called kazi mtaani, to me it's not a surprise, because you get that most of the youths we have so many youths outside there. Most of them are learned, most of them have undergraduate qualifications, most of them have postgraduate certificates, but these people have no work. But you tend to get that during campaigns, and even we witnessed this in the last general election. The political class, when they were hunting for votes, when they were looking for votes, the youths were also, they were always in the forefront. You get that a politician will look for a youth group so that the youth groups can help him mobilize votes. And you could get that these people spend a lot of money branding things to do the clothes, paraphernalia, and things to do with those, so that the youths could come to them. And it's very unfortunate, my brother, that you could get that politicians could even contact these youths. They could even move to their homes just to search for them. They could eat the foods they eat. We could even see politicians eating with the street people, the youths who are in the street, eating together with them, in a way that they tend to bother with the youth. And I'm using this the term bother deliberately. I'm not using it with the traditional orthodox meaning. I'm just using it deliberately because when the political class need youths who are going to stone the opponents, then they bother, then they look for youth. When they look for hooligans to bring chaos everywhere, then they look for youth. When they want to attack another person, then they look for youth. But you get that when these people are elected in government, they tend to forget. And it's very unfortunate that when they're looking for votes, they don't have that resources, they don't have that power. But when they are elected, they now have the CDF, they now have the resources. They tend now to look for close family members, they look for close friends. But when they look for votes, they look for this youth. So I think it's high time that the youth of this nation, they should wake up from their slumber. And I think it's J.F. Kennedy who once said that a society whose young men and women are in their constant state of slumber shall never realize their potential. You get that these youth are sleeping, and in each and every election cycle, the politicians use them, and after they're being used, they're dumped. Even now, the crime rate has increased in most parts of this country. Let's say places like Nairobi. The youths are now gangs. They rob people, not because they like what they're doing, but because the government has not provided with the opportunity. They rob to get the way they can live. Yet, these people in the political class, you get that a certain minister or a certain member of parliament, and if you want to see that these people are misusing funds, just go and look at the Auditor General's report. In each and every year, Auditor General's report reveals how this member of parliament, how these governors are stealing public funds in the billions. And these public funds they are stealing are the money that should be used to create employment for the youth, create space for invention and innovation for the youth. So I think even the issue of kazi mtaani being scrapped and replaced by tree planting, I think those are sideshows, and the youth of this country should wake up and should demand the best from the government. So I think even the government changing position from kazi mtaani to planting trees, I think we are not giving the youth what they deserve. And just to finish on this, nowadays it's very unfortunate that even me personally, we are the people, let's say that we who have been having the privilege to access higher education even at the university level, education is nowadays losing its meaning. Because even if you go to the village right now to tell somebody in the village that education is important, they will simply laugh at you, because they will say education is nowadays like something which is normal, because people having undergraduate degree, people having postgraduate degree are working as tots and are doing some shoddy jobs. And you get that these are the people who, to my view, should be given this position to lead the public service. The people who should be given opportunity to work with the government. And it's very difficult now to convince somebody in the village there that education is important, because somebody has a degree and he has no job. somebody has a master's and he has no job. Yet we have some people in the civil service, they have no degree, they have no undergraduate degree, they don't have postgraduate degree, yet they have jobs. So it's very unfortunate, according to me. It's very unfortunate.
Hii ndio inapea vijana
Pressure kabisa, because somebody sees that there's no essence for education, because after going through the education process, you have your postgraduate degree, you have your undergraduate degree, then you end up being nothing in the society. Yet the people who are in the government, they own so many things, and yet they are not learned.
Okay, as we conclude, the Kenya Kwanza and Azimio, they were given a threshold. Kenya Kwanza had 5 and Azimio had 4 to represent in East Africa Parliament. And what has created a lot of eager in Kenya is that in Azimio, ODM has appointed Winnie Odinga to represent ODM, that party, and Wiper wametoa Kennedy Kalonzo. We are seeing the true color of the politicians, because when they were looking for votes, when they were wooing voters to vote for them, they were bringing vijana, no, and now is that those loyalties of ODM, those loyalties of Kenya Kwanza, the Kenya Kwanza are being paid, because we have seen. Why is that Raila Amolo Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka are appointing their sons and daughters?
To me, I don't want to vilify the process of nominating these people who are going to represent Kenya in the East African Legislative Assembly. But my concern is how these people are being nominated. You get that the other time we had the current senator of Siaya, Oburu Odinga, was nominated to represent Kenya in the East African Legislative Assembly. And today again, we are seeing Winnie Odinga going to the East African Legislative Assembly. To me, I don't see anything bad on that. But the question that we should ask is, what's the purpose of nominating these people to the East African Legislative Assembly? We get that, to me, and I don't feel sorry for saying this, that the political class, they tend to award their loyal members who failed to make it in the elective post. Let's say somebody like Kanini Kega was vying to be an MP, somebody like Shabal was vying to be the governor of Mombasa, but due to some negotiations, he dropped his bid. But what makes me to struggle on this issue of EALA and the entire nomination process is that these people are nominated to East African Legislative Assembly to foster the interest of the Kenyans, to foster the interest of the people of Kenya. But we have never seen them doing anything. Let's say, for example, we have an issue of Migingo Island there. Fishermen are being, fishermen in that part of Kenya, they're being humiliated by the Ugandan troops. Most of them are even being forced to eat raw fish, which is very unfortunate. I expected that these are the issues that they should be tabled in that assembly so that we can solve these border disputes. We can bring those, we can form some rules and regulations governing the fishing processes, because we have some legal fishing nets that are being used there. I think those are the issues that they should be tackling. How to open free trade area in East African community, how to strengthen the democracy of East Africa community, because country like Uganda, we have a president there who have been serving since in the 80s. These are the issues that they should be addressing. But due to the perverse understanding of the sovereignty, you get that we tend not to interfere with the internal affairs of this country. But to answer your question, on my view of selecting somebody like the son of Kalonzo, I think the son of Kalonzo was also nominated the other time to East African Legislative Assembly. But since he was nominated, to me, we have never seen any bill that he has sponsored to that assembly that benefits the people of Kenya. We have never seen him in the limelight trying to charter for the interests of the East Africa, for example. And again, ODM nominated Winnie Odinga. To me, to my best understanding, I thought that it's very unfortunate, because we have people who can serve also. I don't say that Winnie Odinga cannot serve, but why is that the other time we had Oburu Odinga, this time also we have Winnie Odinga? What are which picture are they trying to portray to the public? Is that these things are only made to benefit a certain family, a certain group of class, not to the real people who have agenda, who have issues to articulate, and who have things to solve in the East African community.
It is a family business.
It's like a family business because the other day we have Oburu Odinga, and now we have Winnie Odinga. The other time it was the son of Kalonzo, and today again we have the son of Kalonzo again. So I think there's a sense in which the political class is communicating something which is very dangerous to the public, that we elect them and we believe that because they are our ethnic warlords. We the Luo will say our ethnic warlord is Raila Odinga. The other people will say our ethnic warlord is Kalonzo, the Kamba people. And yet, after these people having power, they now consider their close family member. So I think the process was skewed, and to me, it's very unfortunate.
Okay. They say a healthy society, it is a healthy nation. And there was the Kenya Kwanza government is trying to bring the thing of GMO food or the GMO product. And we have seen the guy like Bill Gates is saying that in his life he has consumed a GMO wheat. Do you think bringing back the GMO product is healthy for Kenyans?
Oh, first of all, let me start by clarifying that the bringing the GMO food and the things of the sort. First of all, I'm not an expert in the health and the modifications of genetically modified foods and products and all things. But I think, for example, I was the last time I checked is that the GMO products are going to be imported, and I think it is very unfortunate to this country and in the entire Africa that Africans, we don't have solutions to our problems. We get that this is a country where we can grow meat, we can grow maize, we can grow meat, but I thank President William Ruto because the subsidies on fertilizer was removed the other day. But I think Africans should start thinking of making solutions to their problems. And even the GMO, the way the political class has been displaying it to the public, the people have already developed a negative attitude towards it, and they're saying that it may have some health issues and the side effects. But I think Kenyan government, before importing this genetically modified product, they should at least conduct some public participation so that they can get the views of the people of Kenya. Because to my understanding, Article 1 and Chapter 1 of the Constitution stipulates that the sovereignty of the people, the sovereignty belongs to the people. So before the government incorporates and brings the genetically modified foods, I think they should bring that issue and consult with the public so that the public, if the public agrees, they can now go ahead and purchase those foods. But to me, I think we should be very concerned and busy on how we can build our sugar industry, on how we can build our maize industry, so that we can produce foods that we consume in our country, where we know that this maize is coming from Rift Valley, this sugarcane is coming from Muhoroni, so that we can consume what we produce.
Okay. Thank you so much, Charlton, for coming on board. And that is a good conversation that Kenya should... because there is less awareness of who will consume and how are these GMO products hadi zitapikwa aje. Kuna watu wajui hadi there's someone somewhere don't know even what are the GMO products.
It's very some people doesn't understand the GMO and the entire processes. But I think having said it a little earlier, and I say so now ad nauseam, that the government should conduct public participation so that they can get that consent from the people. If the people allows them, then well and good, they can bring it so that people can consume it. But as things stand, I think the government should conduct public participation.
Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, thank you very much also for hosting me. And in conclusion, I want to say something here that in Kenya and in entire Africa, it's this is the time for the youths to wake up from their slumber. As I said a little earlier, that the then president and let's say J.F. Kennedy once said that a society whose young men and women are in their constant state of slumber shall never realize their potential. I think this is the opportunity that the young people in this country, the young people of Africa, should wake up and demand for the best from their government. Issues such as employment opportunities, because in person to Article 55, Clause C, it stipulates that the government should provide employment opportunities to the youths. And the youths also are viewed as per our constitution as people who are marginalized. And I think the government, in their capacity, having that President Dr. William Samoei Ruto is now in power, they should institute ways where the youths can explore, where the youths can get that opportunity to innovate and invent. And I think that the youths in this country should wake up and send a clear warning to the political class who only misuse them during election, and then past election, when now they have the resources, when now they have the capacity to deliver, then they tend to sideline the youths away. So I think to me, this is a conversation that we should have and we should continue to have, so that we can have the youths, because when revolution is awakened among the youths, then that can be a vanguard and protection against the impending impunity that we have in our country. Just to conclude, even there's a certain revolutionarist by the name Che Guevara who fostered the Cuban Revolution, and he once said that revolution in history is like a doctor assisting at a giving of a new life, who will not use forceps unless necessary, but who will use them as unnecessarily when labor requires them. So I think this is the time that we, the youth, we should use the forceps to demand the best from the government, because these people, they are being elected to power, they steal from us, they are thieves, and we are the people who are being represented. We tend to be quiet, and we tend to see things as comfortable. So I think the youth of this country should wake up and demand for the best from their government. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you also for watching. My name is Francis Alishiva. I was hosting Shaltom, who has given his point of view and saying that the youth should wake up. Amukeni jamani. Because your resources are being utilized for people, because they are nikama family business. Thank you so much. Till next week, we shall have another conversation.